Good morning, you guys. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Just be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, then you must have showers. So when you hear thunder, just don't run under a tree, 'cause there'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Just be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Take them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, then you must have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree, 'cause there'll be pennies from heaven. There'll be pennies from heaven. Pennies from heaven for you and me. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good.
I'm even better now, having listened to you sing that beautiful song and have it. Not only do the lyrics have great meaning, but it also brought back memories one night of being at the Hollywood Bowl with Bernadette Peters singing it, running up and down through the lower section of the bowl while people were throwing pennies up in the air. So, because it was literally raining down pennies. So, but it's so good to see you and have you back with us today.
Nice to see you too. Thank you.
As you were singing that beautiful song, and I know all the songs today are songs you've selected for today. I thought, I wonder if he's going to swirl around and grab that tenor saxophone and play it a little bit.
Wow. Actually, we'll see if we can sneak it in.
You might. Well, thank you for a wonderful way to kick off our service today. It's great to have you here, as it always is. And I look forward to sharing this virtual space with you and hearing you share your heart through music some more.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles, and we come together in our virtual space on this day, if you're joining us live via YouTube and or Zoom, October 22nd in the year 2023. I welcome you into this space, and invite you to know for yourself that you're in the perfect and right place today to be where you have the ability to open up and receive pennies from heaven, a metaphor for the trinklets from the divine that are always dropping into us, and this ability to spark within us an awareness and an awakening and a remembrance of who we are as divine beings. The vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today I affirm for each one of us that that indeed takes place, and that we each open up and move into a state of receptivity, allowing the divine to impart all of its qualities within each and every one of us. I'm going to put on the screen our opening slides for the morning, and I invite you to sit back and enjoy as we begin our Sunday celebration service. As I shared with you already, we are a community with our vision statement of supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. We come together on Sunday mornings to remember, as I said earlier, who we are as divine beings, and to remember the energy of the divine that we're each imbued with. I invite us all to open ourselves up as the image on the screen is doing right now. You don't have to cross your legs or bow your legs or sit in any lotus position, but take a deep breath in and give yourself the space to say namaste, that Sanskrit word of meaning I bow to thee, that I open up and honor that power within me, that I not only honor it and receive it, but I honor it within each and every other individual expression of light, each and every other sentient being on this planet. As the journey of life continues to unfold for each one of us and the craziness of the day, if you will, let's all remember that this power does indeed exist within all people. Our ability to honor the divine within ourselves and with others is a method, if you will, a tool for transformation, a transformation of that moving deeper into that wisdom of the divine, where we all know that not only is the energy and the power of creation within us, but that we have the grace of it to use it in a way to honor and acknowledge all facets and all aspects and all element of life itself. Let's all take a deep breath in together. Put our hands in prayer position, exhaling and bending forward and saying together, Namaste. We do that as an act of honoring each other, but also for the purpose of bringing our awareness back into ourselves, our awareness and a connection to the thing itself that lives within us. As a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you as you are an individualization of the only thing there is. And through that conscious intention of standing with you, honoring you and your unique aspects that make you who you are as a being, that gives each of us great solace to remember that it's our differences that we get to celebrate, while remembering that it's the oneness that connects us all. We have an affirmation that we'd like to say aloud, and I invite you to say it aloud in the privacy of your own home. We welcome one, and we welcome all. In our teaching, in our philosophy, in our faith, in our way of life, we know that it's through that acknowledgement energetically, through that acknowledgement mentally, that there is the power to connect to each other. We are connected in that which is transcendent of time and space. And so when we remember that and use it, we affirm and know that that which we express and give is returned to us multiplied abundantly. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles, we teach primarily the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind. Its very core essence is that there's only one thing taking place, one activity, one life. That's a big idea. But as long as we're willing to open up to that as a spiritual truth, we can create a shift in our life and shift in the experience of the very thing itself, because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law. In the most simplistic terms of that, it means that thing that one and only force of life, responds to us by corresponding to our state of being. That's why last week and now 2 weeks, my affirmation for myself to bring me back into that awareness and remembrance of the power that exists within me and within each and every one of us is, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The reason for that is not only to remember it, to acknowledge and affirm it, but to step into, put in motion that law of creation, that law of correspondence. I know that as I express it, it returns to me and I have the opportunity to experience it. So once again, our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. That awakening for me, as I've just said, and continues to be the mantra of let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. I invite you to find that which works for you or use that as well, and let it be a stimulus for a shift in thinking. One of the things that drew me into this teaching now 31 years ago is the great Dr. Kennedy Schultz standing at the podium saying, change your thinking, change your life. He didn't originate that statement, but my hearing it and tuning into it at that time helped me change the trajectory of my life in a way that provides opportunity to be reflective on the power that exists within me and my ability to use it. I invite us all to be open to that today in a new way. We open our Sunday morning ritual by the virtual, in this case, of the lighting of a candle. It's called calling in the light. One of its most beautiful incarnations is called lighting the flames of faith. We've heard it many times, we've witnessed it online, and I say so often, I invite you to hear it today as if it's the first time. That's true today as well. I invite each of us to be open to letting there be a visual in our mind as I call out these faiths and how we virtually light a candle, acknowledging and honoring the faiths of the world. And remember that we do indeed perform this ceremony to promote within us and a practice of the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. We perform this ritual and light this virtual candle to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. And so we light this candle for the Tao, knowing that probably on some level within us, each of these faiths stir something in a good way. The Tao, which its practice honors the universal path of harmony and of equilibrium. We also light this candle, albeit virtually, for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. And for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, of action, and of devotion. And Judaism, which is honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. As well as for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness that is in each of us as the path of love. And all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. And for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. It's what we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Let's bring into our mind's eye individuals that practice the Tao, the shamanic traditions, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Baha'i and New Thought, and any and all other faith-based teachings. And then take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, give ourselves permission to feel the oneness that we share, that interconnectedness. And bring all that energy together and focus it on this virtual candle as the healing candle. Let's remember that Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us that healing is revealing the oneness that exists by means of us. So let's bring each of these individuals that came into our mind's eye, and some that we may not have thought about, and let's silently put them into the light of the healing flame. As well, I invite us all to put our beloved Reverend Thomas Hennessy into the healing flame, and his mom, who's making her transition, and to know that they are loved and that the light of the divine is expressed by means of Tom and his mom and her family as she makes her transition, and that all the needs that each of them have by means of transportation and financial and being together are all met. Let's affirm that as we light this healing virtual candle, that all in life may experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. Jason's going to come on the screen now and take us through the song, Lighting the Flames of Faith.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
And so it is. Oh, how beautiful. Beautiful. That song is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it touches me. I'm sure it touches everyone. You've been in a bit of a state of reflection, I can sense, Jason Goldstein.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you picked some songs today that are reflective and touch your heart and your soul as you navigate your journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening and the events and the activities that are happening in the world.
Yeah. This one, I was in camping in Moab, Utah this past week, and for some reason this song came to me. This is a U2 song, a Bono song. I don't really listen to it too much. I'm excited to share this one. There we go. afraid of anything in this world. There's nothing you can throw at me that I haven't already heard. I'm just trying to find a decent melody, a song that I can sing in my own company. Never thought you were a fool, but darling, look at you. You gotta stand up straight, you gotta carry on weight. These tears are going nowhere, baby. You've got to get yourself together. You got stuck in the moment and you can't get out of it. Don't say that the latter will be better. You got stuck in the moment and you can't get out. I will not forsake the colors that you bring, the nights you filled with fireworks, that left you with nothing. And I'm still enchanted by the light brought to me. Listen through your ears and through your eyes I can see. You are such a fool to worry like you do. Yeah, I know it's tough and you can never get enough of what you don't really need now. You got to get yourself together. You are stuck in the moment and you can't get out. Oh love, just look at you now. You got yourself stuck in the moment and you can't get out. You've got to get yourself together. You got stuck in the moment and you can't get out. Oh love, just look at you now. You got yourself stuck in the moment and you can't get out. And you can't get out. No, you can't get out. No, you can't get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a
Thank you so much. What a great jumping off point to move us into this next portion of our service today. When you got to get yourself together,
yeah.
and you find yourself stuck. I'm sure we've all been there. We'll find ourselves there again. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
It's so interesting how Jason chose that song, because what I'm going to do with today is to be very spontaneous in what I address with you in that aspect of my message. When we ended last week our in-person service, the theme about my message last week was, where is God in all of this? And I think it's so important that we keep asking ourselves that, for the purpose of having the answer to how we both define the power of God, as well as for the journey of seeking and identifying the power of being that we call God. Ernest Holmes, the teacher or the creator of the revealer of the science of mind, defines it in this way. I'm going to read it just because I think it's a good place for us to begin. And says it's the first cause, the great I am, the unborn one, the uncreated, the absolute or unconditioned, the one and only spirit or the creative energy which is the cause of all visible things. Love, wisdom, intelligence, power, substance. Today I've chosen a whole plethora. I think if a plethora is a whole plethora, but anyway, and numerous, either text from our New Thought text for the day or just quotes and printed them out, and I'm going to shuffle through them and pull one out to let that be a spontaneous guide for us for our message this morning, as well as a instruction, an invitation, a reminder for all of us that we have within us the ability to get unstuck, as was sung about there in the Bono song, and to re-engage us in our theme for the month of Fall Forward. I'm sure so many of us at times have felt as if we've been falling in what's going on in the world today and wondering if it's forward or not. And the remembrance for each of us is to live in this multi-dimensional life that we have while doing our best to reconnect to that power within us that is infinite and is endless and always available. I'm going to begin with our New Thought text for today. And if there's any questions that any of you have or comments that you would like to add into today, feel free to throw it in the chat window. Our text for the day came from the great television show Kung Fu. And it's a quote from the dialogue there. And the begin starts stated with Master Po to young Cain. Close your eyes. What do you hear? Young Cain. I hear the water. I hear the birds. Master Po. Do you hear your own heartbeat? Cain answers no. The master replies, do you hear the grasshopper which is at your feet? Cain states, old man, how's it that you hear these things? Master Po replies, young man, how is it that you do not? That journey of asking the question of where is God in all of this and opening up to the answer to that is the journey of the master and young Cain there. It's that exchange of opening up to a deeper and deeper awareness of the multidimensionality of the life of the divine that is expressing itself all around us and through us always. It's that thing that is happening even when it appears that it's missing. So when I'm leaning like this, I'm leaning to shuffle for the next quote. There may be a better way to do this, but let's see how this is working. And so it's this. It's a blank piece of paper. Isn't that ironic and interesting? What I think that means for all of us is that we get to scape, draw, co-create, write on the blackboard of our own life, the piece of paper, that which we desire. In other words, we get to direct the mind of God that is within us to co-create the very things that we want to experience in life. And so oftentimes, I think that when we look at the blank piece of paper, we think it's ours to make something appear. And I would believe that what it's telling us is that maybe to not look at what's in front of us, but to turn inward and listen to what's around us as well as within us. It's there that activity of the master and the young Cain come together. And so when I pulled the next piece of paper, it is a repeat of Master Cain and young Po, but in a colorized format. At the bottom, there's the grasshopper. Makes us all wonder, do we hear the grasshopper right now? It's there. Sometimes literally, sometimes metaphorically. And even sometimes literally when it's there, we hear it and choose to allow it to be an annoyance. And yet, what if we were to move beyond that annoyance and remember that it's making the noise that it's making because it has the heartbeat in it. The heartbeat of the same energy that exists within you, within me, within all beings of life, all sentient beings of life. I just pulled another for us that says, God is consciousness. How ironic. Where is God in all of this? God is consciousness. The next statement is going to be challenging for so many of us if we've been around this teaching for a while, because God is consciousness, not a creator. God is the source of creation itself. It, not he or she, it is not independent of you. It's the totality of everything. Take that in for a second. It's the totality of everything. So when I call myself God, I'm not talking about my personal self. I'm talking about the expression of the God self that rests inside of me. The verb, the energy, not the noun. Take that in. It's the verb, the energy, not the noun. Once you think God is a noun, person, place, or thing, you separate yourself from it and immediately become a limited being. That's what separates the believers, the religious people, it says, from the knowers, spiritual. Today, I believe we are all being called to be the knower, to feel that knowing, that wisdom within. Flash back in my own personal evolution of hearing teachers say, there is that within you that knows. And I remember questioning that at times. And now on my spiritual journey, I know there is that within me that knows. But the question that I have for myself is, am I willing to let it out? Am I willing to mine the depths of the wisdom that exists within me? And to allow that within me that knows that it knows, and knows that it knows, be the guide. The guide of my light, the guide of my expression, the guide of my being, the guide of my silence, the guide of the blank piece of paper, the guide of how I love and live and give of my spirit. Our next quote comes from Dr. David Hawkins, and you all know I love me some David Hawkins. But let's read it. Every thought, action, decision, or feeling creates an eddy in the interlocking, interbalancing, ever-moving energy fields of life, leaving a permanent record for all of time. This realization can be intimidating when it first dawns on us, and it becomes a springboard for rapid evolution. That place within me that knows that it knows, that knows that it knows that it knows, if we were to assign it a space, that is that space where the permanent record being left for all time exists for all of us, because it's all the same place. It's the place, if you will, and I say place because it may not be in a locale, it just is. But let's build upon that, rise above that, if you will, to begin to process that and understand it, and then use it in a way to promote, to propagate, to purport evolution, conscious evolution, meaning living from a framework of thinking and believing that is of the highest caliber, meaning that it reflects our divinity. I just had a flashback of Dr. Maureen Hoyt pinching me on the neck when we exchanged last time. That was also a metaphor. She didn't literally pinch because we were in the computers, but she pinched in her energy field, and if I felt it, that there isn't higher and lower consciousnesses, but there is higher and lower levels in regards to the way it's measured in the teaching of Dr. David Hawkins, for the purpose of us understanding higher meaning that which reflects our divinity, lower which means the opposite of that which is reflecting our divinity. Hawkins is telling us here what we're to remember as we engage in the journey of conscious evolution intentionally and purposefully is to do so while remembering that every thought, every action, decision, or feeling creates an eddy, a wave, if you will, in the interlocking, interbalancing, ever-moving energy fields of life. And then he goes on to say the realization of that can be intimidating. Duh, of course. Hearing it can be intimidating. But once we begin to allow ourselves to understand it, not from a brain perspective, but from a wisdom perspective. I say wisdom as if that is the depths of our soul, and I think that's the best way to explain it. Once we allow the depths of our soul to rise up and reveal that to us, then we become conscious and cognizant and purposeful with our thoughts, actions, decisions, and feelings, because we know that it is creating that permanent place, if you will, is that imprint onto the psyche and soul of all of life itself. The next, I've just dropped them all, so maybe it's going to make it even easier. There is an act into the interlocking eddy of life. Dr. Wayne Dyer, I love how this stuff works because I just printed things. I picked them and printed them and didn't put them in any order. I think this is a reminder to us that when we're willing to reach out and pull something in and trust it, it can guide us. The thing itself. Where is God in all of this? It's everywhere. That's where it is. Dr. Wayne Dyer says, our connection to the infinite has always beckoned us. We have only to move beyond the barriers we've created to a blissful and empowering view of reality. So often I think that we've been taught in this teaching and many other aspects of life, that this stepping into or the allowance of this beckoning that is happening, we must come with lightning bolts and marching bands and parades, or it must come through great experiences of fear or being distraught or despair, all of which are just experiences, energy fields that we choose to co-create through. When the reality is that it's always there beckoning us. And that tuning into it could simply just be the listening for the grasshopper. It's there that we begin to strengthen our faith musculature, our experiential musculature to life itself, the revealing of the mining of the depths of the wisdom that exists within us. All for the purpose of living life more cognitively, more faithfully, and allowing the remembrance of that which is there to be our guide. For living life from the inside out as opposed to trying to manage what's going on outside of us and pull it together and put it in and define it as the thing itself or God. It's to let that which is in us out. I think the piece that dropped on the floor is the next piece. Let's see. I love this one. And I think it was one of our, I don't know if it was one of our daily texts or not, but it's recent that I printed it, saved it, and it's from someone named Kate Forster. And it just says so much. Are you ready? I think it's a deep consolation to know that spiders dream, that monkeys tease predators, that dolphins have accents, that lions can be scared silly by a lone mongoose, that otters hold hands and ants bury their dead, that there isn't their life and our life, nor your life and my life, that it's just one teetering and endless thread, and all of us are entangled with it as deep as an entanglement goes. Doesn't that capture a new perspective in regards to the interlocking eddy of life itself. Let's hear it again. I think it's a deep consolation to know that spiders dream, that monkeys tease predators, that dolphins have accents, that lions can be scared silly by a lone mongoose, that otters hold hands, and ants bury their dead. That there isn't their life in our life, nor your life in my life, that it's just one teetering and endless thread in all of us. All of us are entangled with it as deep as entanglement goes. You know, I know so many of us who are animal peeps know this. We know this at the very fiber of our being so often. When we're in meditation on Wednesday mornings, after the meditation, or if I've done spiritual mind treatment with someone via Zoom, or even if it's in person, it's not uncommon that one will say, "Oh my God, my cat or my dog came and sat here while this was happening." From a human observation perspective, we're like, "Oh, wow, can you believe that happened?" And yet, to further our message of the day, of the wisdom within us, of course we know that that's what it's about. That we know that animals tune into energy as much as anyone, that they feel the vibrations of that which is happening. They have the ability to both move away from that which isn't serving them in their life and to bring forth that which is. We know that many animals, if not all, but we'll say certainly those that we know that are sentient, we're taught from an early age that they can sense fear when we're in their presence, and so to not be fearful. I'll never forget, as a child, I had a big collie. I was 5 or 6 years old, big collie, and I'm a huge dog person, always have been, and a big collie walked up who was as big or bigger than me and just reached over and just clomped onto my arm. And as it's holding onto my arm, no one really ever said, "Are you okay?" And it had indeed punctured the skin, but I remember my father saying, "Well, it knew you were afraid of it," which didn't make me more fearful at all. I just was like, all right, well, I guess that's the reason. But that explains what we're talking about here, or it's being addressed here, is that we're all one. You know, if there was ever a time on our planet that we were all walking our planet for us to remember that we are all one, it's now. It's now, and it's as we step into and practice this oneness to do something with it and about it and as it to the best of our ability, to let ourselves move away from our everyday activities, from the repetition of the norm of our life, and give ourselves the opportunity to engage in this oneness of life in a new way, to give ourselves permission and instruction to move a little bit beyond our comfort zones and be open and see what can come our way. Give ourselves the ability to have that new perspective, as we know, and A Course in Miracles calls that a miracle. To change, really, some things in our life. Our next one was a text from earlier this week, and it says, "So often we want to change something about ourselves, we place our attention on stopping something, i.e. changing our health by stopping overeating, drinking, smoking, and so on. Thinking about what you want to stop focuses your mind on what you don't want to do. Switch your attention to the thing you do want to do." Where's God in all of this? I think it's important for us to remember that in our teaching, what so many of us have learned over the years, and if you're new to this way of life and thinking, welcome to the adventure of changing your thinking and changing your life and deepening your ability to align with the spiritual principles, primarily the one that's being addressed in this quote of the law of life responds to that which we place upon it by means of our thinking, believing, action, reaction, and interaction. So when we are ready to make a change in our lives, it's important to declare, pretty much step 3 in spiritual mind treatment, to that which we desire to experience, not that which we desire to get rid of or to stop. Focusing on that which we desire, that which we intend, that which we declare, becomes a state of being in our consciousness, a field of energy, and the law of life responds to that energy by corresponding and providing to us, through us, an experience of life that is reflective of that state of mind. That may be instantaneous in life. It might not be. Remember, it's responding to consciousness, not time. It is not bound by time or space. It just is. So if you're not experiencing the state of being that one desires, get clear on that which you do desire and stay focused on it and trusting and allow the wisdom that's within you to bring it forward, and then tune back into every thought, action, decision, or feeling that you have. That's all creating an interlocking eddy in the interbalancing, ever-moving energy fields of life. Your life, my life, the life of the mongoose and the lion and the sea otters and the dog and the cat and all of life itself. It's much easier, I'm not going to say that, I'm starting to say it's much easier to pull cards in these papers, but I'm deciding that it's easy to pull these papers and to have them show up exactly as the right one, right? And then I just say that to teach it. Here we go. Up, fall forward. An example, in that very moment when I started to allow myself to fall backwards into an old idea, let's fall forward into a new way of being, of thinking anew in that very moment, and then seeing how life works. It worked. Why? Because that's what it's always doing. All right, here we go. One more. Let's see where we're at. That just freaked me out a little bit because I turned left and I saw myself on the screen. I forgot that I had our YouTube channel up on the television in the office right there. Our next one. I love this. I'm going to show it to you because it's in big enough print you can read it. The others are not. Faith is like Wi-Fi. It's invisible, but it has the power to connect you to what you need. I just read that in reverse, by the way. Not that it was reversed, but reading it backwards. Faith. It's like Wi-Fi. We all know what Wi-Fi is. It's invisible, but it has the power to connect you to what you need. It's faith that is required in riding the ride of setting the intention, setting the desire, declaring what you want, and that period in between the intention and desire. And you notice I didn't say time, even though period could be secretive, but that period until you experience it. It's faith. That's what is required. It's full assurance that that which is unseen shall become seen. That which is not an experience shall be experienced. I oftentimes like to use the analogy of it's like a trapeze artist. You have to put the little outfit on, you have to get on the steps, you have to climb the ladder, you have to get to the platform, and to get to the next platform, you gotta jump. The bar comes, you grab it, or either you jump and the bar comes, and then to get to the next bar and the platform, there is a moment, using time as a component of that, when you have to let go of the one so that you can move to the next. And it's in that experience of being suspended in between that which was and that which is to be, faith is required. And it's like Wi-Fi. It's invisible, but it has the power. It's got the power. And so often we take that Wi-Fi for granted because it's become the norm in our life until it shuts down. Let's you and I today make a decision that we're going to engage in our faith in that way, in a new way that we kind of expect it to be there. And in so many ways we have that faith. We have the faith that the law of life is working. We have the faith that the law of gravity is working. We have the faith that the sun's going to rise and the moon's going to rise and both shall set as well. How wonderful it would be if we all had the same faith in the creative force of life bringing forth through us that which we desire. It's important to remember it's not going to fail us. So today's the day to re-engage and to expand that because it's unfailing by nature. It never has failed us, not going to now. Our next quote is from Q.T. Blackson. When you're on the spiritual path and pray to be more spiritual, sometimes your difficult times are actually the universe's response to your soul's request. It's through these experiences that you're forced to grow and realize more of who you really are. Takes us back a little bit to what I was addressing earlier. On some levels, I believe this is true. On some levels, maybe not. But let's just look at it through the lens of when you're on the spiritual path and we're praying, affirming, declaring to be more spiritual, meaning to be more in tune with that which is our spiritual nature, reflecting our divinity that is innately peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. That on this journey, there are times when stuff's going to show up that we're going to think, well, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was declaring. That's not what I put out to the universe by God. And that's the moment of by God. We get to realize maybe it's just filtering out the crap that's in our lives so that we may open up and move into a state of conscious evolution. That is, the declaration in life really isn't about the stuff. The declaration, the shift in consciousness, the spiritual mind treatment is really all about honing our awareness to remember that it begins and ends with our awareness. It's really all about the awareness. It's about that which we tend to focus on, tune in, and express. The next that I pulled for us is this age-old story, and quite pertinent in this moment. A wise man told his grandson, there's a battle between two wolves inside us all. One is evil, it's anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, lies, and ego. The other is good. It's joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth. The boy asked, which one wins? The grandfather replied, the one you feed. Today we're each called to become more conscious, more conscientious, more purposeful, more willing, more intentional, and more forgiving in regards to the one we feed. As human beings who are contemplative by nature, there potentially will be and maybe times that we feed the opposite of that which we desire. Stop it. I'm not saying that wagging my finger. I'm saying that by make a decision. Stop it and begin to feed the other. Forgive yourself for whatever has happened prior to this moment. And in this moment, stop it. Focus on the good, that which you want, not what you want to stop doing. And feel the shift that occurs. That's the way it works. It's the way it works. And so the key is to let it work through you with as much ease and grace and openness and compassion as possible. I just pulled another one because the universe, as the divine, told me to, and I think it's obviously the perfect one to close with. And it's from the great Martin Luther King. And he's quoted as saying, use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself. That's what we're called to do. Thank you all for letting me play with you in this realm. Jason's going to come back on and share another song with us that's going to be divinely guided. And I'll see you in a moment.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places, they had their moments with lovers and friends. I still recall Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. And all these friends and lovers, there's no one who compares to you. All these memories, they lose their meaning. When I think of love, it's something new. Though I know I'll never ever lose affection for people and things that went before. Though I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I've loved them all. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends I still recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. In my life, I love them all. In my life, I love them all.
What a great affirmation, right? To say that in my life I love them all. Because that's what helps us create that shift that I was speaking on. Right? Yeah. So Jason, it's so wonderful to have you back. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, and you were sharing with me earlier that you and your wife, even though I think it's separately, are doing Friday nights and Saturday nights at Vitello's in Studio City.
This is right. Yeah, I have a residency at Vitello's in Studio City on Tahanga, and it's upstairs. And I play there with a jazz trio and sing, and my wife does the same. Yeah, so Fridays and Saturdays.
And so your Friday night is she's Saturday night.
Exactly.
So as I said to you earlier, I think we'll plan a night in the next few weeks. We'll talk to Reverend Mike McMorrow at CSL Granada Hills, and let's do a CSL night there and bring both communities together, those that would like to come and hear and share you in your element of Vitello's.
That would be a lot of fun.
I think it'll be fantastic. I think you guys would all agree that would be so much fun. So let's plan on doing that. And once again, thank you for being here today. I know we're going to have you close us out with a song in just a moment, but thank you for that. So thank you for being here. As always, a pleasure. Big thank you to Travis Smith, our audio technician, for Lord have mercy helping us get through Zoom this morning with all the updates. I'm sure many of you had to update your Zoom, and it's part of the journey, man. It's just part of the journey. A big thank you to Robert Hensley, our administrative assistant and social media individual. So thank you for the help that you've guided us. A reminder to all of you that we do have our midweek morning meditation that takes place on Wednesday morning at 8:30, as well as a new thought text for the day that goes out each morning at 7:30. And avail yourself of that, as well as our weekly e-newsletter and our website and app in the App Store, and our new Facebook group. Lots to be attuned to, so be aware of all the different types of announcements and information that's being shared via email and or text to you all. We're also encouraging everyone to think of bringing a friend or a buddy or a sister or a brother or someone with you into the realm of CSL-LA, and let's find a way to help support our community and promote it. In the vein of supporting and promoting, we'd like to invite you to go to our website and to our app in the App Store and make a financial contribution to our community to support us as we continue to express ourselves and provide space for community and for growth together. I also encourage you to be kind and gentle with yourselves as the events of life unfold every day. Change is happening for all of us, and certainly huge world events that are taking place. And feel free to reach out to me and or our staff ministers, Reverend Edward Brown, Reverend James Hartsburg, and Reverend Lenore Edney. Their information is on our email and our website, as well as we have a small pool of practitioners that we can refer to you should you need that for any type of guidance and or counseling and or support. Once again, I'm inviting us all to remember to support Reverend Tom Hennessy and his family on the journey of the passing that, as he said, the transition that is unfolding of his mom. And so let's support him and all of that. And just let you all know, we're so happy that you're here today. I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment. And at the end of that, Jason's going to sing us out with a song. So let's all know together that we're in the perfect place at the perfect time, expressing the perfection of the divine. That when we question where God is, we listen to the answer as it makes itself known to us. That we remember that deep within us, there is peace, there is power, there's beauty and there's joy, and there's light and there's life, and there's love and there's wisdom. We allow that wisdom to rise up and make itself known. We give ourselves permission, invitation, even guidance to get still and to listen, to expand our ability to hear the grasshopper, our heartbeat, and the heartbeat of all of life itself. We let today be the day that we choose to be the power and the presence of the divine, more awakened, more in tune, more purposeful, and cherish every breath of life that we get to engage in. We let it be, and so it is. Jason's going to take us out on song. After that, we're going to say goodbye to those of you on YouTube. And if you're on Zoom and would like to stay on and share a brief hello, please feel free to do so. Jason, take us away.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through you, Spirit receives through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you, Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us.
That's a wrap. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Have a great